Don't you ever give up.
My name is Rex. Stage name, Rhythmatic Eternal King Supreme is the acronym. I'm an artist who represents the true essence of the golden era of hip-hop music. Trying to bring back a sound that where cats were socially aware, socially conscious, and focused on giving back to their communities through that music. I've been doing music since a little youngster. Started out breakdancing, like older cousins was doing it. Back in the 80s, I was a youngster, 9, 10 years old, and my cousins was doing their thing, like on the cardboards on the streets of Lawrence, Massachusetts. You know, hip hop was making its ways up to the north, from the Bronx up to the Massachusetts area, and we were all affected by it. So I started off breakdancing, just trying to do what my cousins was doing. I just wanted to be around them. You know, they were older heads who were teaching me right from wrong, what to do, what not to do, and I mean, I just fell in love with it from the jump. I remember watching Beat Street, and Beat Street being a major reason why I started to try to pick up the pen, seeing Kool Moe Dee do the Christmas rap, you know, and just trying to mimic that when I would go to the school halls and spitting that for my classmates and whatnot. And started penning my own rhymes, and the rest is history. I remember back when I had attended UMass Amherst, and I got up with a crew of cats, MCs, DJs. We called ourselves Generation X, and you know, it was my 1 year in school, and I decided to forego the rest of my schooling and go to Boston and try to pursue this hip hop thing, see if it was something that I was destined to do. And you know, going to Boston, big city. I come from a small city. Lawrence is not that big of a city. Going into Boston, I was ill prepared, you know, to tackle a lot of the different lifestyles. But what I noticed is that me doing the cypher battles and you know, meeting up with a lot of cats doing that, doing this rhyming thing in the ciphers. You know, the local labels started taking notice, and back then underground labels was doing well for themselves. You know, and I got up with Land Speed, and you know, they took interest in my first project very early on. I'm a young kid, never seen a budget, you know, and Cass is offering money to put out a record. It was crazy, just from me ciphering around the way, and that was a milestone. And after the album dropped, being able to see my single chart number 45 on the Billboard charts, out the gate, was an incredible feat, and I felt like from then on, it was something that I could do. What I can tell cats is they could learn from my mistakes on what I didn't do. You know, I started off, like I said, all those all that respect and the accolades that I was getting. You know, being in magazines, being you know, charting on college Billboard charts, and you know what I mean, like I said, you know, being number 45 on Billboard. That stuff went to my head as a youngster. You know, I was too young and I was ill prepared, like I said, to deal with that kind of respect. And I thought I was bigger than I was. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid out of Massachusetts, a small fry in the hip hop haunt. And you know what I'm saying? I thought that I was way bigger than I was. I never went past, you know, performing in Pennsylvania. But I thought I had the world at my hand, you know. And what I didn't do is I didn't do it like I wanted to breathe. I didn't put my each and everything into it. When, you know, I had a video interview, when I had a radio interview, whatever I had to do, I felt like they could wait for me. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, you know, my shit didn't stink, basically. You know, and I had to learn the hard way, you know what I'm saying, burning a lot of bridges and messing up a lot of contacts that I had early on, to understand that, you know what I'm saying, people don't need you. You know what I'm saying? This game's gonna move with or without you, you know, and it was a harsh reality I dealt with, and a lot of my understanding came from me becoming a married man, having children, and changing my lifestyle around. You know what I'm saying? I still, you know, go out, have a great time with my homies, you know what I'm saying? We kick it and we do what we do, but the mind state and the focus is different in terms of the drive for my music. If I have an interview, I want to make sure that I'm on point, you know what I'm saying? If I have something that a feature that I have to do, whatever I have to do, I want to make sure I'm on point from the gate, you know, just because You know, the individual that you look at and you're like, oh well, this person's not doing what I'm doing. That person could be the next Diddy. That person can be the next biggest thing on the planet. Everybody has the opportunity to like make it. It's a capitalistic nation, and this hip hop thing is no different. Individuals are going out to get this, you know. And while you sleeping, somebody's out there jogging. So, you know what I mean, you just gotta have 100% drive and want it like you want to breathe. It's a lot of sleepless nights, just the same thing. You know what I mean? It's a lot of you know, being away from the family and learning how to balance. You know, I've had major issues, you know, in my relationship with my wife, who I've been with for 11 years now. You know what I'm saying? We've had major issues based upon this music taking me away from home. You know what I'm saying? It affects my children. You know, my son Isaiah just wants to see me at home. You know, like if I'm away, I can't sit and read with him or pray with him like I do on a regular basis when I am here. You know, I'm not here to like, you know, discipline him when he's doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife has to be there, and I can't be her backbone on the telephone the same way I can be when I'm in the household. You know, I never wanted to be the individual who's not in the household like my father was, and so many individuals who didn't have their father figures around. I got 2 boys, and they need their father around. So it took a lot of me understanding what I wanted out of this music and where I want to go with it. I don't want to be the artist that tours 9 months out of the year. You know, I let my management know this. I let my team know this. That like, you know, I will tour, but it's got to work around my family schedule. You know, obviously, if I have an album dropping, and we focus on it not dropping around the time when my son's about to go back to school, or like something that's going to affect my household. We can make it work. You know what I'm saying? And you can make it work as long as you understand the necessary balance that you want in your own life. I know what I want in mine, so like I pick the right times to like release. I pick the right times to be away, because you have to be dedicated full-heartedly to hip hop when you're out there. You gotta be on the grind. You gotta be interviewing. You gotta be shaking hands. You gotta be, you know, just showing up at impromptu at like events. And you know, booking a flight at the last minute. So, you know, a lot of that affects your daily life. Even if you're not married with kids, you know what I'm saying, you may have a girlfriend, you may have something outside of like, you know, the music or whatever your passion is that's going to affect you back home. So you just gotta take that into account and learn how to balance. First and foremost, define yourself, define who you're gonna be as an artist. Know what you're trying, know what your aim is. And before you like just go out there and start like, you know, penning these rhymes and getting in the booth and spending your money, know who you want to be, you know what I'm saying, and know and do your homework and your research to know the people that you need to be around in the environments you need to be around to get to where you're trying to go. If you want to be a commercially viable artist, then obviously, you know, you can do the underground scene for so much, but it's not going to offer you everything that you need to do. There's a lot of workshops that you got to be at. You got to have tapes, going to certain A&Rs. You got to be at certain events where you got to spend money to be around the right people. You got to make sure you want that and make sure you do that so you can get there. As far as like if you're an artist that, you know, is more in tune with like doing it for the love of the culture, like sort of to the degree of what I am, perfect your craft. You know what I mean? Just consistency with your pen. It's got to be the motivation. That's my motivation. I write every day. You know what I mean? I write about everything that I deal with on a daily basis. Be conceptual. Have more to talk about than the next person. You know what I'm saying? Study artists. Study what other individuals are doing in the game, and remain aware of what's going on in the game. Because times shift, there's always movements in the game, and if you're not up to date with what's going on in the game, you're gonna get left behind. I do music specifically that dates back to the golden era of hip hop with a new twist, but like my whole objective is to understand what's going on so I can remain viable. If you want to do it, if if you want to do it, you definitely gotta just perfect your craft. You know what I'm saying? Just stay on that pen. Jumping in the booth and wasting your money when you don't practice your rhymes, when you don't dedicate yourself to, like, you know, working on your pronunciation in the mirror, repeatedly 400, 500 times, you know, to the point where just the way Ray Allen would work on a jump shot, you know, like, you have to perfect your craft. If you don't do it, then your music's not going to sound believable. It's not going to sound like it's from the heart. It's just going to sound like everything else that's out there. You know, so just do you.
We a tight chemistry, any beat sending me, I'ma intently write to the fingertips cripple, it'll be sort of arthritis to finish a line if you modern rhymers. No time for looking back, it's done. We in the 25th hour, it's now or never. We gotta get it for it.